Steelers Nation, we'll take it. We'll take the W. Steelers win 27-22 and probably one of the more crazy, offensively, unbelievably final stretch of a game that we saw from the Steelers-Ravens in a long time. I'd probably say since that Ravens game in 2020 where Minka batted the ball down.
That was back in 2020.
As time expired. This is what this game reminded me of. It was that similar. It was that similar. And Alex Highsmith with the sack on Lamar to end the game. And the Steelers, this Steelers team, I don't know what it says about the AFC North, but this Steelers team is first place in the AFC North. And the Ravens, enjoy yourselves.
Yes.
Tony Daniel with a 2. We'll beat Cleveland and Miami 9-8. Here we come. That's right, folks. 2 more wins.
We're edging closer to 9-8, Steelers Nation.
2 more wins until Mike Tomlin gets another non-losing season. Will he do it? I think he will. I wouldn't be surprised, dude. At this point, man, this voodoo magic or whatever he has, it's just it always strikes around this time.
It never runs out.
It's crazy.
It never runs out.
This guy has unbelievable magic, unbelievable voodoo. It's just always something that's going to kick in. It's like it's like he sold his soul for it. It's like no matter how bad my football team may listen, bro, you got to get me over that hump. You got to get me over that 500 mark. And now he's got 2 more games to do it.
Yep.
The Steelers win, but not without controversy. Isiash Likely, bro. He had a touchdown. JPJ was in coverage. Initially, it was ruled a touchdown. He was open. Lamar hit him. He has 2 hands on the ball. Right foot down, left foot down. Ball pops out because of JPJ. It's ruled a touchdown. The refs look it back over because all scoring plays are reviewable, and they take away the touchdown. It's ruled an incomplete pass, actually. Very, very controversial because, listen, I'm happy we got the win. We needed it because we're first place in the division. But as a honest, unbiased fan, I have to be 100% real with you. That was a catch. That was a touchdown, in my opinion.
No, because the score was 27-22, like the end score was. If Likely's touchdown, which would have been his second of the game, if that was still ruled a touchdown, the Ravens would have taken the lead for the first time in this game and potentially have won the game. They overturned it. And I have to agree with Danny. That was a touchdown for the Ravens.
To me, it was. Let's not overcomplicate what a fucking catch is, dude. He got hands and possession on the football. The ball's not moving. He's holding the ball out like this, like he's reaching for the goal line or whatever. He's in the end zone. Ball reached out. Mitts on the ball. The ball's not moving. Right foot down, left foot down. That's all you need. Touchdown.
No, but the reason being why they overturned it was because he did not make a football move after having full possession of the ball and 2 feet down inbounds for the touchdown. He needed to make a third move, a football move, for it to be official.
That might be the rule. That is the rule, actually, because that's why they overturned it. It doesn't justify the rule, though, in my opinion. I don't think that rule should be the case. They overcomplicate what a catch is. To me, I think the Steelers got lucky. I think the Steelers,
they caught a break on that one. They caught a break on that one because, the first half, the Steelers were pretty much, ruling the game. There was at one point where they were leading 17-3 until Lamar had a rushing touchdown just shortly before halftime, which shortened the score from 17-3 to 17-9 with Tyler Loop missing an extra point.
Yeah.
So Steelers led in the first half. And in the first half, offensively, they were very effective and efficient. Aaron Rodgers had himself a very good performance. I think he had almost 150 passing yards, I want to say, at the end of the first half. And Metcalf had 9 targets, 4 catches for 92 yards. Metcalf had himself quite the game today.
Yes, he did. He actually he had his best game since, I would probably say, that Vikings game down in Ireland.
Definitely his best game as a Steeler. Overall, he finished with 12 targets, 7 catches, 148 yards. By far his best game as a Steeler.
Now, keep in mind, his last 4 games combined, he had 138 yards in his last 4 games combined.
Mm-hmm.
He had 148 today. The only thing he was missing was a touchdown, but he averaged 21.1 yards a catch. He had 3 catches of 20 or more air yardage, which obviously, if you guys knew or didn't know, the Steelers didn't complete a single pass over 20-plus air yardage all November.
No.
They were 0 of 13 and 3 interceptions in that entire span. Today, they completed 3 passes of 4 actually.
4.
Because of that Calvin Austin 31-yard gain. 4 passes of 20-plus air yardage.
They were on point.
The offense had a different approach. They came in. Aaron Rodgers threw for 284 yards, bro. 284 yards and 1 touchdown. Easily his best game in a long time.
Yes.
His best game since, I honestly, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you the last time Aaron Rodgers had a good game.
The Bengals game. The Bengals Thursday Night Football game when he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, their offensive approach was let's pass the ball. They didn't get a run game going.
The Warren only had 8 carries for 13 yards. I mean, the entire rushing offense was 17 for 34 with 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 from Kenneth Gainwell. And funny enough, the first score of the game was the opening drive touchdown score from Aaron Rodgers himself. He ran it in, which was the first time he ran a rushing touchdown or had a rushing touchdown since November of 2021.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years for Aaron Rodgers, but he got probably, now I know we got a number of weeks left over to play, but that might be his last rushing touchdown. Who knows? But nonetheless, they didn't run the ball effectively, but at the same time, they didn't need to because the passing attack was very effective. It was productive. Ravens had no answers for it, at least early on into the game. They couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, this was the best he looked in quite a bit, like you said, probably since that Bengals game.
Probably, yeah.
He wasn't missing his targets. He wasn't oversailing his receivers. He was dropping them right in the bucket. Like, A-Rod was more on point, even with dealing with that left wrist. A-Rod looked good in this game.
Yeah, he did. I like the offensive approach. You know, typically their bread and butter is, let's run the ball. Let's ground and pound. You know, let's beat them up in the ground game. Today, they just we're going to throw the ball today. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to take a couple down the field shots to DK, 1 to Calvin, which was in the bread basket. It's good to get them involved. Roman Wilson was inactive today for Adam Thielen and MVS.
Yes, the debuts of MVS and Adam Thielen as Pittsburgh Steelers.
And no, they didn't make any impact. In fact, those 2 combined only had 1 catch for 4 yards, and that came alone from Thielen.
Off 2 targets. 2 targets altogether from both wide receivers.
Yeah, and they had Roman Wilson inactive.
Which I don't agree with.
No.
I don't agree with having your 3rd round selection from last year who's been healthy and probably your best route technician on the team, who's been getting open if you look at the film, be a healthy scratch for 2 aging veterans who are basically 1 foot out the door of their careers.
However, I will say Roman Wilson's services were not needed today. DK Metcalf had almost 150 yards in the air. Jalen Warren was our second leading receiver, mostly because of that 38-yard catch and run on the flat. That Aaron Rodgers, bro, the Ravens ran a complete all-out safety blitz. That entire right side was wide open. He had Frymuth wide open down the field. He could have given it to Muth. Instead, he checked it down to Warren in the flat because he knows Warren was going to go all the way up the right sideline untouched with a block from Muth in the second level. So, great play by Aaron Rodgers, and that's the thing with A-Rod is his mind between the ears, his football smarts, is something he brought to the field today. Especially when Andres Pete, who's our backup left tackle because Broderick Jones is out for the rest of the year, he brought in Andres Pete, got hurt today. What was his injury? A concussion?
Concussion. There was a plethora of concussions from a lot of Steelers in this one.
There were a bunch, and we'll get into that. But when Andres Pete got out, we brought in Dylan Cook, who never saw a single regular season snap in his entire NFL career.
And he's been in the NFL for how long?
A few years.
3-4 years?
And he's never saw a regular season action until Andres Pete got hurt. When Dylan Cook had to come in, Aaron Rodgers schemed up. He motioned Gainwell right beside Cook to say, hey, chip the edge rusher, help him out. And what did he do? He had a 31-yard bomb to Calvin Austin. Those are the things that Aaron Rodgers brings to the table, and that was a huge asset of why the offense was so effective today. Were there periods where they got conservative and lazy?
Especially in the 4th quarter, because I'm looking at the play-by-play. They went 3 and out 3 straight times, all in the 4th quarter.
While the Ravens
was
closer.
They had 9 plays for only 3 yards.
At the end of the game.
That's it.
So, yeah.
When they had time to really close it out, make sure that the Ravens didn't have the chance to take the game, take the lead and whatnot, Steelers could have been aggressive still. They could have been more consistent through the passing attack instead of playing conservative, considering how DK was playing and A-Rod was playing. It was the A-Rod and DK show today offensively. You could have been more consistent on it, considering the Ravens had 0 answers for it, to really close the game out and then show this Ravens team, bro, we're not playing around. But I just felt like, especially in the fourth quarter, they really played it safe. They really played it conservative.
Well, it's just one of the things you're going to get from this Steelers team is just, like Tomlin and what he does is just, sometimes that voodoo magic's gonna strike in. It just comes with the guy. It's just gonna happen. It's something we're all used to at this juncture, right? So yeah, they could have closed it out. They got a little lazy at the end, but they scored 27 offensive points. Aaron Rodgers with his first rushing touchdown in what, 4 years?
Since November 2021.
You got Gainwell that got into the end zone, which I'll also mention. Listen, I got to be unbiased here. I'll also mention that Gainwell touchdown was right after a Travis Jones unnecessary roughness penalty on special teams. That didn't look like a penalty to me. Boswell made the field goal. The refs threw a flag on unnecessary roughness on Travis Jones. Next play, Gainwell punches it in. I'm just being an unbiased Steelers fan and calling out how bad the refs are, no matter if it's on our side or not.
As a matter of fact, that touchdown that Gainwell got, not only did they take advantage of the penalty that arguably should not have been called, they also took advantage of a turnover that the defense did get. James Pierre came up big on his cousin at that, and Lamar Jackson coming up with a big-time interception.
Yeah, James Pierre, bro, he's having a career year.
We are not missing Darius Slay.
No, Darius Slay, whether he's in Buffalo or he's contemplating retirement just so he can get back into Philly, we don't miss Darius Slay. We don't miss his services. James Pierre coming up big. Shout out to Brandon Echols as well. He had himself a great game, especially in the first quarter, breaking the pass up on 3rd and 5, which got Baltimore their first points in the game, settling for 3.
And he also got a sack in this one, too.
He got a sack. He was very good in coverage. TJ Watt, he didn't get a sack today. He got a few pressures, but his services and his biggest impact was getting Henry closed down at the line of scrimmage very early in the game. Now, Henry still got 94 on the ground because the defense kind of gave up a little bit. Same thing with Keaton Mitchell. They gave up a 55-yard gain, which got the game very close towards the end of the first half.
Yeah, that was brutal.
So it's just one of those things you're going to get with the Steelers is they were up very, very nice. What was it 17-9 at halftime?
Mm-hmm.
And they allowed the Ravens to come back a little bit, and thankfully they did what they had to do to close the game out. Yes, it was controversial. I do believe Likely got the touchdown. The refs took it away, but the defense still closed it out when they had to. They forced a turnover on downs. They got the sack on Lamar, and they closed the game out. They put it away. It was very crazy. It was high drama, as we always expect with these Steelers-Ravens games. It was very, very close. But
no, I did not like their coverage ideas or their coverage capabilities on Zay Flowers. The fact that they didn't have Zay Flowers covered by any cornerback or any defensive back at that for primarily in the fourth quarter, that just had me scratching my head. No. I mean, I'm not surprised by that because this is Mike Tomlin's scheme and Terrell Austin calling the plays and whatnot, and them just not aligning players where they need to be to make these stops. But then again, it's like you got the Ravens that are trying to climb back, trying to contain and maintain the first place prize at AFC North and their playoff spot at that.
Yeah.
And then you just have Zay Flowers wide open. I think it was like a 3rd down play. Flowers was wide open.
Yeah, it was 3rd down. It was an obvious just middle of the field crosser, and not a single dude was covering him. Zay Flowers had probably his best game all year.
Actually reminded me of Jamar Chase again for a little bit. I'm like, wow, you don't have anybody on their number 1 wide receiver.
No.
Just the stuff that, like you just can't be allowing to happen. You can't. I feel like the Steelers, I feel like they kind of let off the gas a little bit, to which, I mean, like, you knew the Ravens, they weren't going to go down without a fight. They had first place. They had a playoff spot right there, and they were going to claw and scratch their way back to the top.
Yeah, this is Steelers-Ravens football we're talking about.
But even then, they were up 27-16, and then, like, to allow the Ravens to potentially take the game like that, you don't want to see the Steelers team give up on that, especially with how good they were playing within the first 3 quarters.
Well, you also noticed, like, during the second half, we all had that fear. It was like, okay, we're up 17-9. And there were cases where, the Steelers would score and then the Ravens would score right back. And then the Steelers scored right back again. Then the Ravens scored right back again. And then the offense got a little conservative and they kind of got lazy. They played it real safe, right? And then the defense started giving us some things. We're like, here we go. Second half team, this is kind of what they do. They just collapse. But in the end, they did what they had to do. They closed the game out. Run the ball! We got the win. At the end of the day, we got the win, and we're first place in the AFC North. And now we move on to the Miami Dolphins.
Primetime Monday Night Football. We host the Dolphins. Should be an interesting game for the end of Week 15 next week. Now, my question for the Steelers after this win is, what do you do with it? What do you do with this win? You got a crucial win. You end your 2-game losing streak, and it was 2 straight bad losses at that. Good on the team to get a win, and they needed to win badly because you can't go on losing 3 straight. It'll just look even worse for their image, especially Mike Tomlin with the news that is coming out from Schefter and Rappaport and guys like that. They had to get this win. My question now is, what are you going to do with this win?
Yeah, because like we see wins like this every now and then this year, like versus the Colts or versus the Bengals, right? And then we're like, okay, like listen, that's a great team win. That's what we want to see. This is the stuff we need to see. Those consistencies from the offense, how they got aggressive. They had a different approach. They threw the ball down the field. The defense minimizing a bunch of the Ravens' opportunities until, of course, late in the game. That's what we want to see, is that kind of consistency, because that's what's going to grow our faith as a fan.
Yes.
We'll see if they can continue this as we get into the most important period in the season. They got their first place. They beat the Ravens the first time around. They tied the Bengals for the best division record right now, right? Or the best record versus the division. So this was exactly what they needed to do. It's just a matter of what is the follow-up going to be. Are you going to do this versus the Dolphins? Are you going to keep this up versus the Dolphins going forward? Because you got the first place now. Ravens have a very tough schedule for the rest of the way. Steelers have the second easiest schedule. So what are you going to do the rest of the way? You're going to keep this momentum? You're going to keep getting victories? Or you're going to clinch the conference? You're going to clinch the division and clinch a playoff spot? It's all in the matter of the follow-up. Good win. I like a lot of what I saw from the offense today, because a lot of what we saw was what we were begging for. Getting aggressive, getting in the end zone, taking advantage of the turnovers, getting points off of it, throwing the ball down the field. It's what I wanted to see, and I'm happy that we did. The defense, they did enough to slow down the Ravens. That's what we need to see. It's all about the follow-up now, which is what we said versus the Bengals after we beat them the second time around, which is what we said after we beat the Colts. It's all about the follow-up.
How consistent can they be? How can they continue his momentum?
Otherwise, listen, I'm going to be a level-headed fan here. This win doesn't change my perspective on anything. It doesn't change my perspective on the season. Frankly, I don't think it changes anything. But I'm hoping that towards the end stretch, they could prove me wrong. That's all I want as a fan. And today, they got the win. I didn't give them a lot of optimism coming into this game, and this was one of the more highly offensive Steelers-Ravens games I can honestly remember.
Yep.
This was a good game. This is a good game by the Steelers and a good game overall from Steelers-Ravens rivalry. Definitely much better than the last time around. We still allowed a lot of yards in the ground. We still allowed a lot of yards to Zay Flowers. We allowed open targets and open plays.
And we had a plethora, like I said, a plethora of injuries just piling on with the Steelers here.
Yeah, Darnell Washington suffered a concussion. Out. We can't lose him.
No.
That meant more reps from youth, and he stepped up, but we can't lose Washington. Andres Pete, he was out with a concussion. Malik Harrison, out with a concussion. Brendan Eccles, he had a concussion. He came back in. Alex Highsmith, he limped off the field towards the end of the first half. He came back in. Patrick Queen, same thing. He came back in.
Keanu Ben, earlier in the game, he came back in. So some of these guys fought through injuries, but some of these guys also left the game with some significant injuries.
Yep.
In a concussion like that, you don't want to mess around with an injury like that.
So it'll be interesting to see what their participation is on a short week and how they're going to approach their preparation. So it'll be interesting to note all that. But yes, that's just how crazy this game was. All those injuries and all those back and forth scores and all the octane offensive plays that you probably wouldn't expect going to this game. We all expected a highly defensive game because it's just Steelers-Ravens nature. Not today, folks. This is a different side of Steelers-Ravens. It was Lamar versus A-Rod first time around, and A-Rod and the Steelers walk out of M&T Bank Stadium out of Baltimore with a dub. And now we march on now. Monday Night Football, Heinz Field versus Tua in the cold versus the Miami Dolphins.
Now let's see if this team can remain consistent and just keep on building on this momentum and stack wins and make it mean something.
I hope so.
Make it meaningful.
I hope so, man. So the Steelers get a win. They beat the Ravens. They are first place in the AFC North. It doesn't change my perspective on anything. It doesn't change the sign here.
No.
But we'll see how this team goes on moving forward. It's all about the follow-up from here on out. But that being said, let's know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How do you guys feel about this game? How do you guys feel about DK going off his best game of the year? Almost 150 yards, bro. Statistically, his best game of the year. How do you feel about the offense getting a little more aggressive? How do you feel about the whole Isaiah Likely nonsense? Let's know your guys' true, honest thoughts down in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Here we go. Steelers first place in the AFC North and the Ravens. Y'all have a good week.
Have fun with that. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!